What is the value of r, the radius of the circumscribed circle? Line constructions, triangular rules, and cosine rule are used to solve this question. Label points E, G, C, and D. Let A be the radius of the violet semicircle. This implies that line EG equals 2 times small r, which equals to line DE. The result is equals to line GC. Also, label points J, K, and P. Join them. Let O be the center of the larger circumscribed circle. Join line OD. Let us study the diagram very well before we move to the next solution step. We have to recognize the length of lines that are each equals to the radius of the circumscribed larger circle. Also, notice the relationship between the side length of the square and the diameter of the semicircle. Find the radius of the yellow inscribed small circle from the figure. Finally, observe where to use the property of a square. But line OP equals line OJ, which equals to r. It follows that line PJ equals 2 times r. Hence, line JK equals line DE. It implies that line KP equals line PJ minus line DE, which equals 2 times r minus 2 times small r. The result equals the product of 2 and r minus small r, as shown on the screen. Join line DP and line JC. Triangle PDK similar to triangle CJK. This implies that KP divided by DK equals CK divided by JK. This signifies that the product of 2 and small r minus r divided by small r equals small r divided by 2 times small r. We have to cross-multiply, simplify and solve for the value of the radius of the semicircle, which is the small r in terms of the radius, larger r, which is the radius of the circumscribed larger circle. We have that 2 times the product of r minus small r times 2 multiplied by small r equals the square of small r. Simplify as shown on the screen. Then, expand bracket, so that 4 times r minus 4 times small r equals small r. Combine like terms. This implies that 4 times r equals 5 times small r. Make small r the subject of the formula. We have that small r equals 4 times r, all divided by 5. We call it equation 1. Let the center of the yellow small circle be y. Join line JY. This implies that line OY equals r minus 3 and line JY equals r plus 3. Also, line OJ equals r. where 3 equals line dy, which equals the radius of the yellow small circle. Consider triangle DOC. Let angle DOC equals 2 times theta. This implies that angle DOJ equals angle COJ. But 2 times angle DOJ plus 2 times theta equals 360 degrees. Because the sum of angles at a point equals 360 degrees. This implies that angle DOJ equals 360 degrees minus 2 times theta. All divided by 2 equals 180 degrees minus theta. From triangle COK. By Pythagoras' theorem, the square of line OK equals the square of r minus the square of small r. Take the square root of both sides of the equation. It means that line OK equals the square root of the square of r minus the square of small r. Hence, cosine theta equals OK divided by OC, which equals the square root of the square of r minus the square of small r, all divided by r. We call it equation 2. Using cosine rule in triangle YOJ. The square of JY equals the sum of the square of OJ and the square of OY, minus 2 times the product of OJ and OY multiplied by cosine 90 degree minus theta. Substitute values. The square of small r plus 3 equals the sum of the square of r and the square of r minus 3 plus 2 times the product of r and r minus 3 multiplied by cosine 180 degrees minus theta. We call it equation X. By trigonometric identity, cosine 180 degrees minus theta equals negative cosine theta. Substitute into equation X. It means that the square of small r and 3 equals the sum of the square of r and the square of r minus 3 plus 2 times the product of r and r minus 3 multiplied by cosine theta. Substitute equation 2 for cosine theta. This implies that the square of small r plus 3 equals the sum of the square of r and the square of r minus 3 plus 2 times the product of r and r minus 3 multiplied by the square root of the square of r minus the square of small r, all divided by r. Substitute the value of small r, which equals 4 times r, divided by 5 from equation 1. Hence, we obtained a new equation in r, as shown on the screen. Expand brackets and we have that the sum of 16 times the square of r divided by 25 and 24 times r divided by 5 and 9 equals 16 times the square of r minus 48 times r plus 45. All divided by 5. Cross multiply. Combine like terms in one side of the equation and simplify your result. It implies that 8 times the product of r and 8 times r minus 45. All divided by 25 equals 0. Cross multiply so that 25 times 0 equals 0. Hence, 8 times r multiplied by 8 times r minus 45 equals 0. Divide the equation by 8 times r and we have that 8 times r minus 45 equals 0. Make r the subject of the formula, that is, add 45 to both sides of the equation and divided the equation by 8. Therefore, r equals 45 divided by 8 in units.